Hello and welcome into the Sorare Data Show. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare. Joined today by Harry Trades. Apologies for being slightly late. Harry and I were doing some interior decorating.
Virtual interior
Virtual
decorating.
interior decorating, that's right. Well, virtual for me.
Yeah,
Very
true.
real for you. Anyway, for those of you who follow Harry regularly, you'll know that he has a new setup here. So we were just trying to figure out what the best situation was. What is that front shirt that you have, the red one? Not the one
The new Welsh shirt.
Ooh, that's
I
nice.
say new. It's the World. Like I wore that to the World Cup.
Yeah, it's a nice one. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming in. Stefan, Bob Franklin, and Mohammed on the podium. Congratulations, you three. Tom Halford, Halfyard. I don't know why I said Halfyard. Halford. I don't even know what I said. Anyway, evening all. Just missed a podium here. Oh, but a podium in D1 Prem in season limited this weekend softens that blow. Second place finish, my first ever podium, and excited for rewards. Wait a minute. Just missed podium. Oh, podium in here. Excuse me. I thought Tom had back-to-back podiums basically. Wow. Anyway, but close enough. Toby, what's up? Malky, hello. Sorare Soul, Mikey Baston. So glad for the tranquility of an international break. Mike Baston, that's what I thought. And Harry basically called me a fraud today because he was like, what was the line? You don't deserve to have a lineup during international break because you hate them so much. And I said, I love international breaks because of the tranquility. And you were like, this is no time for tranquility.
No, this is go time.
Yeah, this is FOMO and YOLO and whatever you want to do during an international break. Anyway, shout out to Nicholas Seawald. Jamie, what's up? Sorare Wakey, Johnny, Hoodwink, Kev Hurd, Scosmo, Super Totoro, Sorare Burrow. That's right. Hoodwink, what's up? Congrats on that huge win, Harry.
Thank you, Hoodwink. I appreciate that, mate.
Do I remember correctly that you said it's the biggest cash win you've ever had on Sorare?
Yeah, by a mile, right? Like none of the podiums ever, like in Classic, have never paid that, have they? I don't even think they've paid over $1,000 or whatever. I think like 700 maybe is the max.
I was never close enough to even worry about it. But yeah, that's a great hit. Congratulations. Excited for are you excited for the reward time, like knowing what you're gonna get?
I mean, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because we never get excited about cash, but you kind of have to when it's like a crazy amount, right? But like there's 6 reward boxes, so I'm happy about that kind of splits it up. Like if I can somehow craft something or whatever, that'll make me like a little bit happier. But yeah, I'm as happy as it can, you can be.
As you can be, yeah.
It's more like thinking about what you could do with it rather than like winning it, isn't it?
It's really funny too, because there are times where like you win a card and you're like happy because you're like, I could sell this for a lot. And in this instance, you're just getting the cash, and yet you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll take it.
You'd rather be in that position though, because you have the pick of the bunch, then, right? You can
Right.
pick who you want to win or buy or whatever. Yeah,
that's what it is. Anyway, Victor, Mike, what's up? Recomon, international breaks are so boring. Yotza? I don't know. Malky, my first question would probably be, how impactful do you think good scouting is in the new game? More so at higher scarcities, I'd guess. And I'm going to disagree there. Ryan, what's up? Look at this. Carried by the Zanka that he was disappointed in getting.
I mean, he got an error goal the game before and scored 12 points in the midweek, and they still beat Sociedad. So, yeah, like, luck and whatever, but I'm obviously very
How excited are you that error goal didn't lead to a relegation where you would then not be in D1 and therefore couldn't win that top?
That's a good point. Where would I did play him. I played him in the European
comp
thing. Yeah, the in-season thing.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, very happy I got Zanka.
Scosmo says, currently trying to scout for a Prem defender for game weeks 19 and 23 and struggling. Maybe we'll help you out there. Maybe we'll help you out. Arthur Nice won a mystery jersey. Now it's time to get married and start a family and then receive it. That's a good one. I did see Arthur's tweet on that. There was a McBride-esque cell phone to the screenshot. But anyway, congratulations, Arthur. That's a big win. Palmo, what's up? Ben Johnson, do you guys also check exchange rates all day when you win a cash reward? Harry, hold on. Harry, where do you live right now, if you don't mind saying?
The US.
And what's your currency on Sorare?
GB. Yeah. But I don't know whether that's like an account thing. Like, can I even change that?
Of course you can change it. Actually, I have no idea if you could change
I don't know. I don't know. But I'm getting ETH anyway, so it doesn't matter.
it. Ooh, ETH boy.
I mean, yeah, the last couple of cash rewards I've won recently have been ETH, so I've got no cash balance. So I'm like, just pop it into ETH and just pray it goes up, right?
I took cash rewards very briefly, and I realized that, and this sounds very, maybe I'm just exposing how untech or unlike crypto savvy I am.
Mhm.
But if I really needed cash on the site, I could get it on in like 3 minutes.
Right.
It would take me days to get ETH on the site. So I just win it instead.
Yeah, I'm not really too interested in withdrawing this. I don't think so. Like, if it was cash, it's so easy to withdraw. Like, it's ridiculous.
Right.
Like and deposit, like you mentioned. Whereas ETH, I mean, yeah, goes into Coinbase and whatever, right? Like, it's not that. It's one extra step, which is maybe too much than zero.
Ryan Walter, I asked if you were excited, and you mentioned reward boxes. The state of Sorare, love it. Yeah.
I mean, like, we know it doesn't. You could win 100,000. Like, it's just like, it's still amazing, but like, it's not. I don't want to say it's not fun, but Jesus, like opening a reward like card, a card is just like.
I think part of it is just for so long. That's what we
are used to, right?
That's what we like won. That was it. The cash was only part of it.
Right.
Some people are talking about reward card backs are now live.
Are they?
I still have cards that can't even be opened.
Yeah, same.
Does a card back look like? I'm trying to go to one where I know I won something.
Okay, so it gives you the history, is it? Is that the idea?
Oh, it looks like only the current season cards as I click on one that is, well, current season, but not.
Let's have a look. Spin them around. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does. It tells you your highest score.
I'm just going to go to you. What card are you looking at? I don't know.
I'm just looking at my Cho, not Callum Hudson-Odoi. Cho that plays for Nice.
Surely not Cho Guesung either.
Not him either.
From Nice.
That's quite cool. I don't really get. There's like a shots on goal thing. Is that relevant?
Let's see here. 2 game weeks, 2 rewards, 2 shots on goal. Highest score 82. It's kind of cool that has your name on it.
That is really cool, actually. Yeah. Collected by. That's interesting. Like, yeah. Why doesn't it say? Oh,
well, it does say. It does show the. There's like a little logo there of a cart.
Oh yeah. So you bought it on the auction. Mm-hmm. What about go to one that like I didn't buy from auction? I wonder what will it still say collected by or? I'm trying to think who I've got. Do that Cyworld.
Have you won anything? Didn't you just get it?
I didn't win him. No, I bought him off somebody. I'm just interested to see if it says obtained different wordage.
No goals. So he has goals on his.
Okay. And he's got.
Boy, I don't know why this is like super zoomed.
Yeah, that is really.
Somebody commented. This is 100% for me.
Wow.
Let's see. Who's your goalie from that?
If you go to that special edition limited, that Lovro, I'm not going to pronounce his second name. He has big chances created.
No, he doesn't.
Well, he doesn't have any, but,
but good to know that he might have one day.
He could have one. Well, that's funny. What about Gutierrez? He's a defender. Last man tackles for Gutierrez. I wonder how they determine that. Do you think it's random? It's got to be, hasn't it? Because they all seem
who's your Nice goalie again? What's his name?
Bolka.
BU. Yeah. I knew that was going to come to me at some point.
It's got to be saves, hasn't it? Yeah.
14 game weeks. You've used it.
5 rewards. They must count. They've got to count reward boxes in that.
Reward boxes are rewards, Harry. Come on now.
I know.
Come on.
I mean, they are.
Better than $3,000 in cash.
Apparently so. Apparently so.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. I just like the name thing's cool, isn't it? Like your gallery, like having your gallery name on there, I guess.
And I assume it all resets if you get it from someone else. Like, if I buy a card from you, then the stats
It'll say
reset.
your name. Oh, and the stat, of course. Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's quite like FIFA Ultimate Team E-Led. I don't know whether you played that, but like I remember when I used to play it, and it'll tell you like you bought this card off the market. He scored X amount of goals in X amount of games for you, X amount of assists. I kind of like that. That's definitely a FIFA Ultimate Team situation, I would say.
I'm going to show you how helpful this Midtjylland collection has been for me. That I bought Olafsson's. There's no 11 rounds? No.
I mean, the numbers don't lie, lad.
How about we save a pen here, Elias?
I know. I thought you was kind of known for that at some point, or maybe I'm sure in like the qualifiers or something he saved a couple, but
I don't know. But there he is. 11 rewards in 18 game weeks. That seems pretty good.
It's a good ratio.
Yeah, just as I was going to throw shade on him. That's cool. It's obviously just the. So I notice it's just the new season cards, like the new European season cards.
Oh, okay.
So like the new, like this is the first one I checked actually. I have a new season Keisuke Osako, but just the face still.
Okay.
But yeah,
it's fun.
That's cool. Jamie said, how fun does the Cap 250 comp look? Have you scouted that comp yet, Harry?
Haven't scouted it. I've looked at what cards I've got on the site, but I haven't done any sort of data scouting. But yeah, it's an international break. Well, the last game week of it. So it's like, not only is 250 restrictive, you've got like 5 games to choose from, which is, double restrictive. So yeah, it's a weird week to choose that. They know what they're doing. They're not giving out much essence.
Yeah, no. Ben said boxes are not included as rewards. I can't believe that, given what I just saw in Elias.
I've not won 5 different. Like I've only played Bulka in season, and I've won twice, like 2 cash rewards. So yeah.
So now we can scout using card backs only.
That's funny. Yeah, they've just tweeted about it. Your card, your story.
Yeah. So we said 200 essence and limited. Go big or go home. It's going to be a
lot of essence.
It's a lot of essence. Marco Lele, what's up? Watching from the treadmill in the gym. We love to see it. Love to see it.
That's awesome.
I was just telling you that I can't listen to podcasts or watch streams at the gym, but in the treadmill I can.
Yeah, you're a music gym guy, aren't you?
I am, like if I'm lifting.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly because I find myself not listening to the podcast. Like I go minutes where I'm just like, oh, whoops. And then I feel bad.
I've got to that point with podcasts in general. You just don't absorb any information. I don't know what it is anymore. I just because I'm doing something other than listening all the time whilst I'm listening to them, walking, gym, whatever. I feel like I just really struggled to retain it, but it's nice background noise, whatever.
I can do it. I can listen on a walk, but anything else, I can walk and drive. Other than that, I got to watch a video and sit down and watch it, and I really struggle otherwise. Anyway, we've turned into Sorare Harry's here. Harry Stone, looking at about a 250-pound budget for Sorare, would you rather flesh out a lot of limited lineups or dip into rare? Been playing on-off for a couple years. I know what I would say. What do you got, Harry?
I mean, yeah, the first thought that I come to is limited, right? Maybe not even more than 2 good lineups on paper. I don't know what prices are at right now in any scarcity, really. Like to be like, I know you could spend 150, 125 in one, 125 in the other and have 2 really good lineups. I don't know whether you could do that, but I'm sure you could get close to 1.5, 2 in season lineups with that. I don't know I don't know what, if that's Bundesliga, La Liga or whatever, but gotta be limited, 100%.
You could make 10 contender lineups with 200.
Well, you say that, you could probably make, you made what? A really decent challenger in season limited lineup for what, $12?
Yeah. Well, that was with market credits. It was 26 without it.
So there's
the contender one I made was $33.
Okay. So
that won me. What am I winning this week with that lineup? I think I'm winning literally 25. I think I made most of it back.
That's wild. Yeah, you could probably do if you're playing contender or challenger, you could do 4 or 5 in-season lineups probably, but you couldn't, could you? Because you only play 3. So it's like you might as well just do 3 in-season challenger, maybe 3 in-season contender. But then it just depends if you want to play those divisions. Because if you want to be a champ boy, then you're gonna probably have to fork out a little bit more.
Yeah. I was just looking. I spent the cost of the cards that I bought was $33. With the market credits, it got me down to 21, and I won $30 and a box.
Wow! In one game week.
One game week.
Did you buy like any sort of cheat codey in seasons, as in like Asians, if that makes sense?
Yeah, 2 of them.
Okay.
2 Asia, 3 Mexico.
Wow.
Sorare at its finest.
You Sammy off the bench as well. You lucky thing.
Never a doubt, Harry. Come on now.
It was against, I was going to say it was against our boys, but it wasn't.
No.
It was at home, yeah. Why was he on the bench?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Seems like something that I should care about, but because he got 2 decisives.
You don't care. When I said our boys then, to be fair, I had the goalkeeper for the other team. So that's why I knew there was something on it for me. I remember because they had a clean sheet at one point, like late on. And I was like, Usami's on the bench. Like, this is going amazingly well for me. And yeah, obviously, Usami'd. So just what he does.
So yeah, just do this 10 times. You're good. This game's so easy. Laird mixing his food palettes. To be honest, Japanese, Korean, and Mexican foods, 3 of my top 5 favorites. So it makes total sense. Hoodwink said Usami had 3 games in 7 days, hence the rest.
Shocking.
You need 90 minutes?
No, he doesn't.
He goes, man. Anyway, Malky said for $250 you could get 3 in-season rare contender lineups.
Could you?
That seemed
when we say like, are they going to do anything? Are they going to compete, or are they competing? Right.
Even 3 classic goalies has to be at least half that money.
Right.
And then you have half the money then you have 125 pounds
for outfielders
for 12 outfield players.
Feels like a stretch. I'd probably agree with 2. I'd say you could do 2.
Maybe
3 feels, I don't know, but you might know more than me because like I said, I don't know the exact prices of everything right now. So
Unsane is $30. Is he really?
Jesus. In season?
Maybe. Last sold was 45, but there was an auction for 33 2 days ago.
Yeah, he's £40 instant buy right now. Yeah.
He also only has I guess they have playoffs, but they take a decent break in January.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's fair. DeTuro's 25. La Liga 2 classic keepers are dirt cheap. So I actually don't Laidlaw in season 25 euros. Subaric in Croatia is 20.
Yeah, maybe you could squeeze 3 in, but are these, I mean, to be fair, Laidlaw.
I actually think if you're playing contender, using the classic spot on a goalkeeper is you're not the best strategy.
You're hamstringing yourself big time there. Yeah. You can buy Laidlaw right now off somebody for £28 in season. The instant buy is £29. So, I mean, but like you said, you're going to need one good smasher in there. Like, you're going to need like a Barker or something. So, whatever he is, how much is Barker right now? I mean, Barker's £160. Classic. So it's just you're competing against those guys, unfortunately. So as much as you want to say you can make 3, you can, if we're being logical with it. But are you going to win things with it? I don't know. Rare that is. I don't think you could with your Barcos and players like that still swimming around. Although they're not in season, although you can get that weird.
There are some in season Barcos,
right? But what I'm saying, there's none on the market right now.
And Wule,
there's just too many of those smashes that you'd need to get 3 of them if you're going to play 3 lineups. You're going to need 1 classic smasher in each lineup. Fact. And he's probably going to have to be outfielder.
I played Barco in season.
Right.
I have a classic season Barco, and I always play it in season comps.
Got to.
Yeah. Although they have a pretty big break coming up too.
True.
That winter break feels just like years.
Yeah, Austria's as well. not fun.
That's right. Victor said with a 250 setup and 3 teams, you also don't need to win every game week. Only 5 caches will do most of the time in Challenger anyway, on top of the box farming. I will say the box farming is like, I've totally turned on that. Like it's so easy to win boxes in in-season comps.
Oh, it really is. Really is.
Jow says Kai Wagner, Evander Cucho Pooch, and a classic goalkeeper is 96 euros plus 5 for McCarthy. I mean, you also have like 3 games left.
That's the thing. It's the best team you could ever buy, but it's literally only valid for 3 games is the issue, right?
And it's, well, maybe let's call it 6 games of playoffs, but like someone is going to be eliminated from the playoffs.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is great. And this is where the scouting comes in. We have the floor.
100%.
Peter said, I had a DNP in Division 1 and still got a box. Me too.
Wow.
It might have been an Armani lineup. So painful, Harry.
Yeah, there was lots of hope for the duo for you this weekend. And do we know why he didn't play?
He had there was like a family issue.
Wow. Great time.
So this is the lineup here. I finished 40th percentile. Excuse me.
And they got the
so
clean
I got a
sheet.
box.
I didn't know they got the clean sheet.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
And Paulo Diaz didn't start because he had a stomach problem.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
And for those of you who are unfamiliar with my gallery, I have this combo. I also have it in rare at 15%. I also have it in super rare, and I have it in limited.
Don't you have like 2 sets of rares though?
I have. So this is classic. This is these are both 15%.
Jesus Christ.
And then here's the limited one.
Wow, Rakitic
smashed.
Okay.
I believe. Oh, Harry, you're gonna love this one. Hold on. I believe, yes, there was only one player on the entire platform that took more corners than Ivan Rakitic last week. Just one.
I won't say names. I'll let the chat decide.
I'll give you one hint.
Somebody mentioned his name in the chat. I don't know whether you saw it.
Somebody did. Yeah. Let me go back to. I'll bring that up because where was it? Who are we going to thank today for bringing up the best player on Sorare? Rico Man. Bang. Anyway, Tangerine Pear and Team B. Oh no, did I forget one? Oh yeah. This is the first entry I've ever used on that one. Oh, it must not actually. If I am on Division 4. Oh man, Harry, this is embarrassing. How do I can't you look at the
match? Yeah, there's something where you can see what you've done over the past weeks, right?
I wonder if it's if you look ahead. Really, my apologies. I will definitely fix that. That's embarrassing. It's like I showed up to the stream naked. Toby said Shaqiri's back. He also took a bunch. Where was he?
Okay.
He took 8 corners this weekend.
What was his AA?
He scored 79.1. I don't have his AA in my spreadsheet here. But he has new season cards.
Yeah. He did score really well. Wow.
Because he came up short of the 100.
19 AA for Shaq.
Yeah. So basically his in-season Chicago Fire cards will be in season until February.
And then £9. Well, one's £9.
It's crazy. Contender in season. Should I just buy it? I don't have anything in Switzerland.
Yeah. Chonier just moved to Switzerland. You know, the Montreal smash on his first game.
I got Benny Traore in there. Oh man, now I'm gonna have to buy. I used to have his limited. What's his name? He was the old Dortmund keeper. Marvin.
Yeah,
Marvin
Hits. Yeah.
He was dreadful for a while too. I had that card and I was like, such a differential. It was like 32, 27. Yeah, I should have a Kago.
Yeah, Tsunomoto. They've got a few good players there.
Yeah, they do. They do. Anyway, Peter, the topic was scouting, which we've done like 17 times already today, talking about that. Harry, I don't know anyone who has more seemingly random players in their gallery than you. And I noticed them when you're like, oh, I just won U23 Super Rare this midweek. And what the hell is that guy's name from Bologna? Santiago Ramos Mingo or whatever, if that's even close to the name.
Yeah, it is.
And you're like, yeah, I have him. I've had him for 3 years. I'm like, how do you find these guys? Like, what are you doing that makes you land on these players where we're all sitting there thinking, who the hell is this guy?
I mean, I think my scouting's definitely like changed or evolved over the years. Like, I think I definitely used to watch more football than I do now. But you get to the stage where like if you've watched everyone kind of once, you kind of know even if they're in a different team now or whatever, we know roles can change, and that is obviously beneficial if we're talking set pieces and whatever. But like, if I've watched a guy once, like I can kind of just look at him and go, okay, in my brain, can that translate into Sorare scores at some point? Right, that's like the baseline for me. Like the example with Santiago Ramos Mingo, that was more of he used to play at Boca like as a kid. He moved to Barcelona, so like anytime that happens, like alarm bells ring. At that point, he didn't have cards. He was like Barcelona B player. Didn't really play for the first team, but the fact he even got the move, like you're like, okay, well he's got to have a bit of pedigree to do something like that.
Sure.
And at the time, it was Brian Aguirre, who was at Newell's Old Boys, and he's been good for a while, but now he's at Boca. Boca Juniors, they bought him a few months ago, maybe a year ago now. But I remember I acquired both of them in a trade, and it was at the time where I wanted to play. Yeah, I wanted to play Super Rare. Or I wanted, to improve my my Super Rare under 23, because back then I was only fortunate enough to play either the summer or Europe. I didn't have budgets to be playing Super Rare under 23 all year round. The goal was to get to that, and I've managed to get to that now. But 2 years ago, that was not a thing for me. I could only choose one. So at the time, I had a Tani Super Rare, which came through the Vinny Souza thing, which again, that was a scouting thing in itself. Anyway, so I was playing summer under 23s, and obviously Argentina go through that, from a fixture perspective and stuff. And yeah, I saw that he went to Leuven and didn't it seemed like he never ever played. It was like a failed move, and he had one card on the platform. And I was like, well, I want that one card, because at the time, like I know for a fact he wasn't scoring very well at all. If not even do we know when I actually bought him? It says over a year ago.
The date is January 10th, 2023.
I'm trying to look. I should be on Sorare data really, but I'm just trying to see for the first game from game week 450 roughly. Like he was not very good. Like there was just loads of DMPs. He was coming off the bench. This was at defensa at this point because he'd moved back, and it was just one of them things where I'd watch him in youth. I was like, at some point, this guy's going to be a good player. Like he's going to be a good centre back as long as he stays fit. He's a wicked passer of the ball, and as we know, that can be translated quite well to the Sorare scoring matrix, final third passes, etc. You don't move to Barcelona as like a 18, 17-year-old kid from Argentina unless you can't pass the ball. Like that is going to be one of your main attributes as a centre back. Never mind his aggression and all that stuff. Anyway, and I just thought it was one of them where I'll buy my time. I just know eventually he will play football for somebody. Ideally, obviously Europe would have been maybe nice, but it went back to Argentina, and he's been able to help me. I don't know what he's actually won for me realistically, but I know he can do 60 AA on his day. And it's just one of them where I wanted to have him because there was only one card. That was the draw with him more than anything else. It was more the scarcity factor. I'd be the only one with that card, and in that division, especially at Super Rare, if whoever Foremost Mendy doesn't have a good game and 10 people have him, well, I've wiped them out as long as Mingo does his thing. It's obviously a differential, right? So it's that kind of counts for him. But I had, because of my budget, I had to do this scouting. This is one thing I speak to you about a lot, right? A big budget on this game in a way, right? I needed to be resourceful at the end of the day because I didn't have a budget to play in season under 23 Super all year round, meaning that I needed to scout summer under 23 players. And we know those aren't as popular as the European ones, obviously. But there was a gap there for me to kind of get into that. There's obviously MLS players to fit into that, J League as well, hence the Tani and Yuito Suzuki. Like, you know, like those Daiki Matsuko, I still have in my gallery now, the Super Rare. He's back in Japan, to be fair, but like they don't always work out. But, you know, like I said, if I've watched a guy 1 or 2 times and I can see there's a bit of promise there and he's 18, 19, 20, specifically for under 23s, I know I've got, you know, a nice little cushion there where he doesn't have to be great straight away. But I know if he gets into the right environment, if he plays enough, there's DAs, there's AA, like there's things that are going to translate to the game. And yeah, if I had a budget back then, I wouldn't have probably done this in a way, you know, because I wouldn't have needed to be as savvy, if that makes sense. I could have been a bit more lazy with it.
Sure. Do you think that, I mean, you basically still play that way. Maybe you don't find guys where you have to wait quite as long, but like you still have these guys.
Right. But yeah, is that because you can't really shift them at Super M? Maybe. Not that I'm trying to, but you know, like it does become a bit of a problem in that sense, especially at Super Rare. But I don't know. I've always, it comes from a budget thing, really. Vinny Souza as well. Like that was a sofa score scout back in the day. Friday night game. I look on my phone. I see this guy's made 5 tackles, and I'm like, how's this guy made 5 tackles in 20 minutes? Like that's just ridiculous. Go online, you know, go on Sorare, see there's a couple of Super Rares up, whatever, buy one. And it's just things like that where, like, I'm not saying that's gone because that still exists. Like, we still do that. We still see those spikes where, you know, somebody has a good game and they fly up, right? Like, it still kind of happens. At the time, though, because Super Rare was so scarce and everyone wanted to play, like, PK was buying them. It was, like, a big thing to have a player that could do 50 AA, you know, at Super Rare because that's 115, 20 points with the scarcity bonus. So, like, that type of game from a card that I paid £300 for at the time, which was pennies, really, wasn't it? If we're looking back,
surely
it was. And I won the division with his first big score. I think, like, I won under 23 Rare Pro with his one of his monster scores, and then sold him the game week after because I was like, this guy's going to transform my gallery. Like, because I did a bit, you know, I was a little bit quicker than somebody else on that Friday night, where I managed to sell him. Managed to buy him. I think it was like October time. I sold them in December.
Jeez. It looks so drastic when in fiat.
I know.
Yeah, so you bought in fiat, you spent $448.
Yeah.
And 2 months later, 3 months later, let's call it, you sold them for $15,000.
And this is where I got to thank Sorare Data as well, from just whatever perspective, as far as scouting goes, like that plus the sofa score, like combination for me, like I was relentless. Like if there's a game going on, I won't necessarily be watching it live every time, but I was on Sorare Data or sofa score looking for updated, stats in that sense, and seeing Vinny did 5 tackles in X amount of time. Look at that, by the way. Noah Lang, red card captain. Also, can we appreciate I scored 440 on the dot?
I was just about to say that.
Like, is that not like OCD porn there? But yeah, this was Christmas time. It was around the time when Nellis did like a drunk cast. Do you remember one of them? Yeah, it was around that day, maybe not the same day, but this was like a mini little Belgium midweek. Again, scouting. Like, it was one of them where, like, I didn't have the budget to compete on a weekend. I had to wait for my Belgium guys to all play in the same, game week, although they didn't all play for the same team. And obviously, yeah, you get lucky in that sense. I think I won Cody Gakpo with that as well. When Cody Gakpo was like the boy. Cody Gakpo. What did I do with it? Oh, I sold it
for $2,100.
He was a menace, wasn't he, for a long time?
The worst thing about, so he was one of the first limiteds I ever bought.
Ooh.
When limiteds came out. I bought a bunch of limited cards of guys I could never get in rare. And he was one of them. And I remember selling him before that summer or during that summer, because I was like, he's going to leave. and then he stayed and just absolutely smashed his fucking face off. My God, he was so good.
If we think PSV is good now, like he was, he was the Veerman Bossagli of the forward. Imagine that. Imagine having to compete with that. Like it's hard enough to compete with Bossagli and Joey Veerman as mids and defenders, but to have like a forward that just smashes hundreds every basically game week, it was like, and under 23.
I was going to say it was U23.
Yeah, it was just like you just couldn't get around him. Like he was absurd. But going back to the Sorare data thing, like I was relentless in just watching every game that would be live on any day. Sorry, nicer on Fridays because there's less games to kind of track. But I would just be tracking their stats and just seeing like, okay, who's just done 20 AA in one half? Like, why has he done that? Well, we go in and we see, well, he might have taken set pieces, or he's an absolute monster as a tackler or whatever. And you just kind of, at the time, like that was my like edge, I think. I was just so obsessed with finding, gems basically. It didn't have to be under 23, but probably did for a while. And seeing if I can, find a deal on them or whatever, and get a trade done. Like that was how I had to play the game for so long. And I wouldn't change it, but like ultimately there's easier ways to do it these days. Like you don't have to be like so obsessed and like, relentless with that type of thing, because I don't know, like the game we play now is just different, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think even that part still is an advantage. Like that's just an effort advantage, I feel like. And maybe it's not that you're getting guys that people don't end up finding, but at least if you get them earlier.
Right.
The one thing that I remember specifically that you used to do, maybe you still do it, but I had found some guy, I don't even remember. I think it was actually when we used to do like this, essentially like an SO5 team of the week that we did U23. So it was like the highest scoring goalkeeper, and just like a graphic that showed that. And I remember before we sent it out, I was like, do you know who the highest scoring U23 player was? And like in 1 second, you were like, oh yeah. And I don't even remember who the player was.
I remember
that's how like
about this, yeah.
unmemorable the player was.
Right.
And I was like, how do you know this? And you told me that you check the players tab
on Sorare, yeah.
So like this is a tab on Sorare that like I don't think anyone uses enough.
Probably
but basically, it's just a list of all of the players in the game week and what they scored, and it defaults to your players. But you can take that off, and it was a U23 player, so I just have this here, and like these are the highest scoring U23 players, and you would just go through and you'd be like, I don't know who this guy is. Click on him, and now you're like finding out all about this player who like, why did he score 100? Was he Dabiachvili who had a hat trick, and you're like, that's understandable. But then you have guys who have like one decisive and 40 AA, and so it's like, oh, why does he have 40 AA? And it just steamrolls from there.
Exactly. Like Obed Vargas there, right? I think he did like 50 AA. So it's like, okay, how did he get that? Because I was away from home. Like I've watched him play, so I kind of know what he's about. But if I didn't know or anything about him, obviously I would click in and go, okay, where did that 40, 50 AA come from? You can click that. Yeah,
I can just click it. That's how much I know my own
AA. Right. That is bonkers. 5 interceptions, 5 net duels. So yeah, he's just a duel monster basically, and that's obviously how he gets his triple, and obviously you're away. But you go through his scores, like he can score goals and get assists as well. Like he's not just. I mean, it's not very consistent, but I've seen him score goals.
Yeah, he can get there.
Yeah, and like he's just been called up to the Mexican national team. So is it that much of a shock that like he's just put in like the best game of his life basically on Sorare? Like he didn't know that news before that, and it's just like, of course he's going to play well that game. Like he's going to be playing for the Mexican national team in the next week or so. Like just little things like that. There's timing, it's all part of it. But like you said, this page was my bread and butter for a long, long time, and I don't think I could have done this on scale as like a one-man band basically across every division led. Like this is why it worked for me, because I was only doing under 23s for a long time. So like I was really, really, really tunnel visioned on under 23s, obviously. So that allowed me, like I knew that the maximum amount of pool of players I need to worry about every game week is, let's just call it 1,000. Whereas if I'm playing every other competition, it's times by 4 basically, or 3. However it was back then with all the different leagues and stuff. Like there was just so much more volume of players that I had to worry about, know about, scout, etc. If I was to play everything back then, the fact I was narrowed in, and that still applies now. I think like if you're just a Premier League player, it's the same thing. It doesn't have to be under 23. That's just what I was doing back then. But like I just felt like I had a grip on the competition because it was just under 23 players, and there's only so many of them are scoring that well every game week. And it was just easy enough for me anyway, brain capacity wise, to just compute that and keep that in my mind. So then I know eventually I'm going to know every good under 23 player, there's not many that would be off my radar at that point. There's obviously ones that come, emerge now and stuff. But like, I think that's why I had a lot of success scouting, is because I was just, making sure I didn't unturn any card. Like every card was getting checked out at some point,
Yeah. And that was before they had any info on the back. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Let's do a little scouting right here. Skazma says, genuinely interested who you would both pop up with for game week 19 and 23 Premier League defender on a reasonable budget. I've ended up with some stupid ideas, which I don't want to do. What's the first thing you would look at?
I would go fixtures. If we're talking Premier League right now, we're going straight to fixtures. I'm looking at who's playing who on game week 19, and then we'll cross-reference that with 23. Was it 23 or 21? Sorry.
23, I think.
23, okay.
Yeah, 23.
And I'd probably work from there. So what have we got? Tottenham at home, Man U at home, Liverpool tough game, Newcastle at home, Forest, Ipswich. Okay. It's like in my mind now, I'm thinking if Ipswich have another good game at home, I've got somebody in mind just because I'm just a weirdo and I just, might have somebody in mind. It's not Muric. Do you have an error to goal?
Home against Leicester. It's perfect.
Wow. Okay. So that Leif Davis guy, I don't know how you pronounce his name. It's left back. I think it is actually, or Leif or whatever. Life. I think he takes set pieces. If you look at his stats last year, Laird, it's the most absurd. He didn't have a card, obviously. He was the most absurd championship defender. Okay, yeah, so he's still massively on them. Laird, his stats last year, he had like 26 goal involvements or something stupid. Yeah, he had like 18 assists. It was like absurd.
Still for Ipswich, like before they...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's all Ipswich. Okay, yeah, 18 assists. 20, yeah, what's that? 21. A couple of negatives in there, but...
Right, so 18 assists in 43 starts.
Like, that is ridiculous. It's basically 1 in 2.
Yeah.
And he's, like, still scoring okay in the Prem. So, I mean, I don't know what his price is.
Skazmo said he's on the list, but he has McNeil, who's a forward, so I had to veto him. I don't think it matters.
I wouldn't worry about that, yeah. I wouldn't worry about that, to be honest. They can both still score well.
If it's not a goalkeeper, I don't think it matters.
No. I used to be maybe against playing a defender and a forward from different, opposing teams. But yeah, I wouldn't... Like, those are good Premier League scores.
Like, I was going to say...
Oh, that's champ, isn't it? Sorry, yeah.
This is... Oh, wait, sorry. Hold on. Yeah, let me go back to...
He was under 23 last year as well, so that would have been a menace of a card.
But like this is 30 AA in a game they conceded twice.
Huge. Like that is a good Premier League scorer there, from a promoted side. Like those are decent scores.
Yeah, Charlie said people slept on him after they opened with City and Liverpool.
Right. And because he didn't have cards last year, no one really would have known. Unless you're a massive Ipswich fan or like watch the Championship or whatever, like it would have been hard to kind of know about him realistically. But I mean, that was just a quick one. They were both at home. Like that's the first thing I'd be trying to look at is like who's at home twice, right? Realistically,
like that's I think if you're looking at a budget, so like you're eliminating City, Spurs, Arsenal. I guess they're away. Man United. I don't know, like Liverpool. Like these are all. If you're including the budget part. I don't think anyone in these teams probably qualifies.
Probably not.
Newcastle, no. Maybe,
but it's like, who would I really want from Newcastle's defense? I don't think there would be. Like, what is Sugawara?
I'm just trying to see who they have in 23 first.
Okay, yeah.
Wow. Like, that's not bad.
It's not bad, yeah. Sugawara's scored pretty well so far. I know he had a bit of a disaster maybe last
funny, we picked two teams that are playing Everton in these, like they play 19.
I know. We're not hating on Everton in any way. Laird's a massive Everton fan.
Love Everton.
I don't know. I just think you're gonna I don't know. It feels like to me you're gonna need somebody quite peaky, which both at home, fullbacks. I've got to be thinking you got to scrape a DA in one of these two games, or if not both. Like that would be my goal. Thinking about how these games go. Like, is there many centre backs in the Premier League that are gonna walk to 40 AA that aren't like Diaz, Guardiola?
Right.
I don't know if there is. Unlike the lesser teams, like they just don't score well. Defenders in the Prem, outside of the big boys,
So we've got Forest are home against Palace and home against West Ham, which, knowing Scosmo, he probably doesn't want somebody home against West Ham, but
probably not. No.
I was gonna. Scosmo said I'm looking at getting Sells. Wasn't
He's
Sells
injured? He's injured.
Sells is?
Yeah, he's pulled out of the Belgium.
Wasn't he supposed to be replaced by now anyway?
There was rumors about that. Yeah, that like.
Didn't they get
Brazilian.
like a 6'8" Brazilian kid or something like that?
Yeah, he hasn't really broke through yet for whatever reason.
Apparently not.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, who are Fulham playing in that second game? Not that Villa's an easy game, of course, but
Brentford.
Oh wow, double home for Fulham. So like Antoine Robinson, Jedi comes to mind straight away. I don't know who else you could really pick. Anderson maybe. But Robertson. Wow, got battered against City. Yeah, but like
everybody does.
Right, yeah. Don't worry, we don't need to worry about that. But
this is what you
right. That is. If I'm picking like a longer term player up, I'd be looking at that personally. Fulham at home twice. I mean, he's got international utility. I know that doesn't really matter right now, but like we need him for the 2 game weeks. Both at home. Fulham are half decent. He is 100 capable
for sure.
If he adds a DA to those 35 AAs, there's 100 for you. Simple as. Could he do that at home to Villa after Villa have played maybe in the Champions League?
Harry, 100 against Liverpool.
I know. I mean, he's capable. He really is. He's an absolute beast. Konza just got injured as well.
I was going to say, didn't he pull out of international?
Yeah. Konza is good. Yeah, I agree. Konza can score pretty well as well, for sure.
Scosmo said the really rogue one I don't want to do is Ashley Young. You will never hear me tell you to buy Ashley Young.
That's a tough one, that. I know he has scored quite a bit of AA already this season in maybe 1 or 2 games, but 39. I mean, away twice.
Ipswich and at Southampton.
Yeah. I mean, they're not tough games per se, but like the Prem's just a weird place. It's so hard to predict these games in general, like for the Prem, like especially when we're talking about all these like middle of the road teams. Like the games are so tight. It's really, really tough to like forecast things, in my opinion. Like I mean, that's why I don't really play it, because I just don't see where I can get my like a grasp on it really. But I mean, yeah, that Leif Davis one for me is the best if we're taking like, because he's on the set pieces, right? That's just massive. So big. And this probably comes into your realm a bit more because you are, I mean, we both like him, but I think from your show Friday, like you are definitely somebody that likes to think of set pieces in the forefront of your scouting for whatever,
It's the second thing I look at. And the first one is the fixtures. Like,
right.
So I actually tend not to, like, I have found myself now focusing on like teams first, which teams have good matchups, and I find them, and we found like a couple right there, like 2 home matchups, mid to bottom to lower table. Like that's fine. Who takes sets? Like that's always going to be my next question, regardless of position.
Right.
You find a defender who takes them
at home twice.
Maybe I'll make a Prem team. Hold on. What's this going to
be? Little Ipswich stack.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, but they're all fullbacks. Like, there's one thing in common there, Led. Like, we've picked fullbacks because, right? Yeah, it's tough to get them in at super rare. That's the issue as well.
He has 3 super rares.
Wow,
who's got him? Snake 2702, Shambles FC, and Tom Don. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's a
just
tough
by
one,
the unique.
What did he go for? 200? Yeah,
915.
Oh, Scosmo, you can buy my Dean Houston off me if you want. I mean, if he plays, who are Bournemouth playing? He does rotate in now and again, so
No, Bournemouth are home against Arsenal.
Yeah, no worries then. We'll scrap that.
For the first week, hold on. Maybe the second one is better.
Okay.
The second one is...
Oh, don't. Sit your way, isn't it?
It is! Oh, no. Sorry. City home. City at home.
Okay.
Look at that run. Home against Arsenal, at Villa, home against Man City.
Tough running. Okay.
I can't believe Kepa is actually their goalkeeper too.
I don't know.
Best U23 Bundesliga 2 keeper. I mean, I have an answer because I have one.
Yeah, it's either Noel or Urbig. Nahuel Noel or Jonas Urbig, I would say.
Yeah, I'm completely biased though because I have.
No, he is really good. Like he is.
I also won it though, so I can't even say like I went out on a limb and got him.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're definitely. But the thing is, with you now, you're doing like these little like 6-week adventures. Like there's differences in like that compared to like the guys that like you just you're happy to own for a season, like the River Plate defensive stack, right? Like you keep those cards in your gallery. Not to say you're going to sell these 6-week ones, like the Gator guy-ish version, but you basically want to keep the premium guys forever, kind of, as in like the premium defensive stacks and whatever. Like example, River Plate in your gallery for that sense, in that sense, and then some of these like little side quests that you're doing, should we call them?
Sure.
Like you might not keep El Karauni for like the 3 games after they've had like smasher matchups and whatever. Like this all depends on the scarce. Like this is the thing. Like it's so muddled up for every different people, right? Because like you play across 3 different scarcities, and it's so hard to like make this relate. Well, not that hard, but like it's hard to relate that to everyone because everyone's not doing that. People might just be playing at limited, which most people are, or just at rare, or just at super, and it's like it's harder to do those things, the in and outs and the buying and selling, the higher up you go scarcity wise, as we know. Scosmo's just mentioned it. So, at limited, could you Gator guy your way all the way through the season? Could you go, okay, this 4-week, this month period now, 3 home fixtures out of 4, whoever the team is, see what I do with that team, or a majority of that team, then you sell, and then you go another 4-week block. Like, are we thinking about things in blocks now? I think you mentioned that with Gator a bit more, like the 6-week block or whatever. Like, is that the meta? Like, is that where you're really maximizing your just potential to win on every single given game week? Because if you're, like I mentioned with the River Plate thing, more often than not, River Plate are going to be good matchups, right? Over the course of the season, they're going to have more better than they are worse. Whereas like a team like Groningen aren't going to have, they're not even going to have a 50-50 split, are they? They're going to have probably 75 bad matchups on paper and 25 good. So that's where the 4-week block thinking comes into play with teams like that. You don't have to do this 4-week block thinking with like the best teams, because the best teams have good matchups most of the time, most of the season. You know what I mean? So like, but if you've got the time to do it, or if you're willing to put in the effort, like that's where I think a lot of returns can be made.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you that. And for those listening, the comment from Toby was that it's time consuming as hell, which is true. However, I do feel like there are a lot of people who spend a lot of time doing things that probably don't justify the time.
Right.
Like the things that they research can be done by looking at like sportsbook odds or something like, it's just like, it's, I think people really like to complicate things when they don't really need to be complicated. This comment from Philly Dilly I want to touch on though. It says, it feels like it's really hard to be moving in and out of cards an entire season and not take a huge hit on card prices. Like, I think the point of moving in and out is identifying cards that are underpriced based on their upcoming fixtures, because most cards are priced based off of the fixtures they've already played, and being able to like essentially arbitrage that, I think is like, we're not sitting here saying this is like an easy process to do.
Oh no, definitely
but it is very doable. And it just, it takes time and knowing how to use that time effectively.
I think
Scosmo said you can't really take a hit on Ashley Young. He is definitely buying Ashley Young
and he's keeping him forever.
forever.
But like, I think if you want to, like, if the whole time thing's an issue, which this still involves scouting, but ultimately you want a base. When I say base, I mean like a defensive stack. Let's say goalkeeper, defender. Maybe you go double defender if you want the option of like a premium-ish team to where like whatever the matchup is that game week, you don't mind using it. If we're talking about time being an issue for you, like let's say we don't want to scrap. Let's say we don't want to. Swap out like the 5-man lineup every 4 months, every 4 weeks. Sorry, let's just say we swap out the midfielder and forward. Let's say, you know, you're more than half in your time spent at that point, right? If you're keeping the defensive stack consistent throughout the season. So, you know, season cards come out start of the season, Premier League. Let's say you buy a Tottenham stack, for example, double defense and the goalkeeper, and then throughout every 4 week. Bulk every 4 week break, you're swapping and changing your midfielder and forward depending on, matchups and stuff. At that point, is it as optimal as changing the 5 players every 4 weeks? I don't know. But ultimately, you're going to be spending less time doing that because you're only looking for 2 positions. At that point, anyway. Maybe 3 if you don't want to do double defense, which I get, but...
Mm-hmm. Victor said Groningen got me 3 rare boxes in season away versus Ajax. Was contemplating putting them in training. Free 3 boxes. Got to have faith. And then Ricoman said, if time is an issue, buy PSV. And so I'll bring up my lineup from this past weekend, which was a Sparta stack against PSV and Captain Vinny Souza to bring it back to an earlier and top 30%. It's got me a box.
Wow. Yeah, that just goes back to boxes being so easy to get in Division 4 in season, Division 3 in season, whatever. Like
299 points.
I know. But what box is it, a 3-star or 2? Probably a 2.
Probably a 0.
Do they do 1-star boxes? I genuinely don't even.
If they do, I'm winning it, Harry. I will say, though,
you might be the first.
The biggest benefit to these boxes, no level ups.
Of course. 2-star, okay.
Like 3 card essence, 20% in a market credit. I think that's perfectly fine for scoring 299 points in Division 4.
100%. Like that's the biggest thing. I know this is a different conversation, but like that's just the biggest thing. Everything, the whole. I'm not winning anything with 500 points these days. It was like, but people are winning things with 280, 290. It was like, come on now.
Yeah,
that's one thing that does get missed, especially in the lower division. Are you getting promoted with that as well? Then
I actually don't think I am.
Really? Because that's what you want, really. Oh. You're
300. I was 1 point short, literally.
Promotion in a way,
300.
You probably won that, right? Like if you've got lineups that are like, you don't want them to get promoted because it's harder to get boxes, right? Technically. The higher up you go.
I guess.
Surely. Depends what the goal is, ultimately, but...
I had no idea. Actually, you know what? I kind of thought, maybe I never knew I was being promoted. That hurts, though. Oof.
Yeah, that's a stinger. But like...
I agree with this with Toby. The Sparta stack's good enough you want to promote. But I have another, like, as you can see, this is called Team C. I haven't even named it. I have this one in Division 3 and this one, which was the one that had my same limited guys. That's now promoted to D1. So like Sparta have a really good matchup after the international break. They'll go in D1.
Mm-hmm. And I think, there's, now that we've had it for a while now, but like the 3 divisions in every competition, I guess, like, do you really need to sell out of these cards all the time and buy back in? Because like you could just play them in a lower division. Like, you just deprioritize them if your gallery, like if you have a budget to do that. This just comes back to budget though, doesn't it? It's all about what your budget is. And if you can keep putting in a little bit every month or whatever to keep replenishing things and keeping things bigger and fresher and stuff, then it obviously, makes it easier for you. But if you're just using £100 and you're not putting any more money in and you're just having to recycle that all the time, and then of course that's going to diminish, really, isn't it? Unless you're just winning things that obviously offset that, which is the goal. But
yeah, I think the grinding part of the game is now that, like, grinding lower divisions for boxes. Like we used to grind for threshold and now it's reward boxes, and I think it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, no, I do as well.
Victor said, especially for budget managers like myself, sitting on a 1.5K gallery instead of previous seasons winning maybe 10x bottom cash rewards and 3 tier 4 or 5 cards that are useless 95% of the time, I win 9 boxes weekly.
Which turns into a tier 1, tier 2 star rare at the end of the season if you can, have the patience.
Right. Peter says now grind threshold for boxes. No, just one time, Peter. Just one time we're doing that. Rob says they definitely do 1-star boxes. I've won enough of them. Maybe in Classic?
Potentially, yeah.
Toby said I'm getting 14 boxes in an hour and I'm hyped.
That's fun. It's way more than me. I blanked on a lot of boxes this week.
I missed out on a bunch, but I had the Classic. I think I'm winning 1 box. Excuse me, 1 card and 3 cash rewards. That's it might have been up to $100.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I have 36 lineups and to only win. And I'm like, oh wait, I've got 15 boxes. Let's go.
You did more than half.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was just like, all right, there we go. Uprigo said level ups on Division 1 boxes are killer. Again, only Classic though.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree. Those are bullshit.
Yeah, those hurt big time.
Wistomania said 9 boxes per week is certainly much more than 1 tier 1 or 1 star per season. It's certainly a better experience.
Yeah.
And frankly, nine boxes per week ends up with a star or a 50% chance to a star if you hold your essence long enough.
Mm-hmm.
Peter said hitting the 30 essence in a Division 1 limited box is the best feeling.
Don't think we get to experience that rare, do you? I think it's 20, no?
20 is the highest, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you looked at the select your target yet?
Not fully, no. As in, I've seen what you can win, but no, I haven't really had to play around. I do have a Super 8 goalkeeper that weekend, but my L15s are too high really across the board to fit a 5-man in, so I might 4-man it, but isn't it 480 points at Super 8? To win the highest one?
Yeah.
With its cap to 250.
I mean, it's wait a minute here. Oh, I must be on the wrong competition. Hold on. Select your target. For super rare, the top one, 480, and you get 120 essence, which is almost a tier 3 guaranteed.
I mean, if you can hit 480 though, you might as well play an all-star, right?
Maybe, yeah.
That would be a decent score, a very good score.
Yeah. Red Panda, thoughts on the trade-off of holding essence for higher levels versus opening as soon as you hit 20 for a tier 5? Peter's here. He'll answer all your questions.
Well, put it this way. I wouldn't be winning the cash I'm winning this weekend if I didn't do 20 essence for my super rares, tier 5 pluses. Wow. Zanka was a 20 essence pull, and people said you can't win things with tier 4s and tier 5s, Laird. Well, living proof, baby. Zanka season. I think
Johnson, how great is credit spending too? I feel like I'll never pay 100% for a card again. There are certain things in my life, outside of Sorare, mostly that my wife does it, that there are certain stores that there's always a coupon or a discount somewhere and you go to, and it's full price and you're like, nah, I'll just wait. That's how I I'll never pay full price for, and I used all my market credits. If I don't win any today, I'm not buying limited cards until I win.
Is that how you feel about it? Okay.
Yeah.
No, I get it. It has been nice winning. I've only won a couple, but it does really take the edge off. Before last week's game week on Friday on the deadline stream, I bought an in-season Harit, Amin Harit Marseille card, and it shows £60, but I didn't pay £60. I paid 30, baby. So it just takes the sting out of it big time, doesn't it? Which is great, I guess.
I did that with my Matt's Kohlert rare. When I was buying all the limiteds, I was like, maybe I need a rare too. And yeah, it was what does it say I paid for it? Hold on. It says I paid $37.62, but I like $37, but I think I paid half.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh, I'll do that.
It's so nice.
And again, like that's money I would not have spent. Period.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I
been your
wouldn't-
argument for a while, hasn't it? Like it does make you spend more, even though you're spending. I mean, you are spending half of what it would cost if you didn't spend it. But like you said, you might not have spent it at all. Like you might not have spent 14 quid at all. So no, I think it's great.
Yeah, I spent $18.85. But I used ETH, so who knows what it actually was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's yeah. Peter said I win a $5 off and pay way more than $5 over the floor on an instant buy.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
But Peter, he probably doesn't want me to say this, but I'm going to. For somebody who is very analytical about Sorare, Peter loves himself like a raffle ticket. And like any sort of offer they have, like buy a limited card and get a 2% chance at 25 essence. He's like, I'm in.
Yeah. Odds are stacked against me, but you just can't stay away.
Exactly. This is my week. Mike said, are market credits the old threshold payment now? Still buying cards with house money?
I mean, it's a diluted version, isn't it? Because you're having to pay with it. But yeah, it's probably the modern threshold, isn't it? In some ways,
it kind of like it mimics the outcome. It mimics the outcome of like you're buying more cards like with their money.
Yeah,
but you need some of your own money to do it too. And so I think it's just one of those things that we're a little more open to using our money, where previously maybe we didn't want to spend it. And or I guess it was more. I think there were a lot of people who were willing to spend money, but because they kept winning the threshold, they didn't have to.
Why would you? Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And now that you kind of have to, you're like, all right, well, if it costs half, I'll just buy it. I will say I have seen some, you mostly see it with the bots, but the number, like the very obvious, like it's not even arbitrage because that doesn't even make sense, but like, you buy a card for $10, but you're only spending $5, and then you sell it to a bot for $7, and it like looks like you bought a card for 10 and sold it for 7, but really like you bought it for 5, and now
yeah, that's a good point.
I'd rather
that's a really good point.
Cards and win some
Keep them
boxes. Yeah, let's go. But anyway, another good point from Peter, and you have to buy Sorare's cards.
Right. Yeah. It's like a forced upon you threshold type of thing. Like it's
Yeah. But then again, like if I buy Sorare's cards, it's now easier for me to win boxes and more credits, and then I just spend more money.
And then you're locked in.
Hilo said, super not fun credit. Excuse me. How do market credits affect taxes?
Yeah, I was literally thinking about that then, because like you said, you buy it for 10, but you only spent 5 on it, and you sold it for 7. Technically, that's a $2 gain, right?
I have no tax advice for you. Please don't.
I'm seeing a $2 gain there.
Or tax.
No financial advice.
Yeah, it's not what we're here for. Ben said, I want to buy new NBA cards, and I'm resenting having to pay full price. That's why I'm holding my baseball boxes. It was Toby. Toby and I have a similar problem that we don't like seeing notifications. Toby, I'm just going to show you this so that you can see what I have to deal with. So I have 14 reward boxes to open, but I don't want to open basically what feels like 99% of reward boxes in MLB are market credits.
Right.
And they expire after 30 days. There's like a longer than 30-day off season. And so if I want them for the new season, I have to like essentially save my boxes.
Right. Yeah.
Like I have $846 worth of market credits in baseball with no intention of using any of them until next season.
Can we transfer to the football side, please?
I'd spend every dime I was saying I would spend every dime if I could carry it over. Peter said it's okay, just carry over your losses. It's pretty much all losses at this point, isn't it? Holding baseball it's not. So Ben, it sounds like it's 4D chess. However, it just takes Sorare to be like, hey, your boxes have expired. And then I just lost them all. Yeah. Red Panda, does Essence carry over from one season to the next? I assume so.
Yeah, we don't know, but
especially when you play Challenger Contender, there's no off season. There's no one season to the next. Just
good point.
Just always.
Good point.
Rob said they reset every time you get a new one though. But I don't. That's why I'm waiting though, because if I open them all now, it'll be longer than 30 days until the season starts. Maybe there's a strategy there. I don't know. Anyway, we have anything else on scouting? I feel like we talked a lot about scouting without actually talking about any scouting whatsoever.
I mean, kind of, but yeah, I mean, for both of us, I think it starts with fixtures, right? Now, that's probably the biggest takeaway. It starts with fixtures. We're ideally looking for homes, and then we're going into, okay, well, who in that 11, is the most sort of active, and why are they the most active, and kind of take it from there. Like, that's, for me, if we're talking about like specific game weeks and targeting those, that's kind of the only way, but that's basically the most obvious way to scout. Now, if we're talking like buying a whole collection at the start of the season, like that's different, right? Because we have no games to go off. We only have last year's games. There's definitely depends time of year, time of the season. There's loads of factors that change, I think, depending on that. Or are you buying a whole gallery, or you just chop it in and out? Like, there's so many different ways to do it, I think.
Actually, let me extend on that for a quick second, but I'm going to also give Surface to Air Missile credit for the MLB box idea. He was the first one who I heard say it. Although I do know other people were talking about it. Surface, I got it from Surface. Anyway, so the scouting thing, looking at fixtures when buying a team for the season, like I feel like there are people who are sitting there thinking, why would I look at fixtures if I'm buying an Ipswich stack for the season? And my argument to that is, whenever you're looking to buy whatever you think you're going to buy, if they have bad fixtures coming up, my guess is they will be cheaper after that run of bad fixtures. And so buying them before those fixtures, feeling like you have to play them, getting relegated or getting stuck and like, I guess we go back, oh, maybe you can like scrape some boxes while you're there. Maybe those boxes there then have to be like more valuable than the amount of money that then the cards will
overpaid.
Right. And so I do think that we've been talking a lot on this channel about like changing the scouting time to 6 weeks or whatever it is. And there are a lot of people who are like, I don't want to play that way. I want to like think longer term. It's okay to think long term and look at the fixtures that are right in front of you, because if you buy now for the long term, you're going to have to deal with those fixtures. And with the way that we see in-season cards, and I want to say like decline as the season goes on, we haven't really seen like a drastic decline yet. But theoretically, the longer you wait, the less utility you have, but then cheaper cards you get. Like, I don't see the benefit of buying into a bad run of fixtures when you could just buy theoretically cheaper after the run.
The only pushback I would have on that is, if you want to be highest collection bonus guy on that, that's the only thing, isn't it? It's like, if you do buy early, at least you're going to be one of the first to have X amount of bonus, one of the first to have the highest collection bonus on that set, although it might not yield anything in the first couple of games if they have bad matchups on paper. So like you said, yeah, does that offset overpaying on paper? I don't know. But over the longer term, once you do have that good fixture, and then you're in the position there where I'm the highest collector, I know I've got all the biggest pieces, most powerful pieces, then does that then swing back? Does the pendulum swing back in your favor as long as you hit it on that week, or those weeks that you have coming up that are good matchups? Those are the risks and rewards that you have to kind of weigh up for yourself, which again is so hard to do. It's just a lot of risk there.
I think that applies more if you're doing like full stacks. Like, I still think I think having like if you have cards that other people are playing that are not as powerful. Like, I think my guess is they paid a lot more, and you just need to beat them with your other 2 or 3 cards, whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Skazmo said, if you're buying in season, you're paying a premium for early utility that you don't want to use. Like, that's like if you bought Ipswich before the season and the first 2 games are Man City and Liverpool, like you're like, all right,
yeah,
great. Vitor said, when are we going to talk about the Villarreal upcoming schedule? I actually talked to Gator Guy about it, not on stream. But they do have a very good.
They play midweek, so don't they? I feel like that. Don't they play
everybody out?
Yeah, that's one big thing I don't like about picking teams up. That maybe they don't. Maybe I've just made that up. Who am I thinking of in?
I mean, La Liga had midweeks as well, but anyway, yeah.
True.
Home against Getafe, Valladolid away, Vallecano.
That's beautiful.
Alaves home. I would guess. Yeah. Who did?
Like, who scores well for them? I'm not seeing many high scores there.
Well, I know
it's Real Madrid, but like,
I think the argument, or not the argument, but I think the Gator guy of this is buying Conde, 1 or 2 defenders, and then you just take your attacking players from somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I have a Sergi Cardona. He scored okay during the season so far, but like.
Oh yeah, Alex Baina. That's the one who's really.
Baina, yeah, he's the mid. He's pretty good. Yeah.
I'd probably
go. I go with. Oh, did you?
And sold him when they got promoted.
Of course. Oops. Also, this. Yeah. I was just thinking then. Nice Betis that my guy should have went to Valles. Yeah, I'd go as far as the mid there. Like, I wouldn't be taking any forwards. Yeah, if Jared Moreno's fit, maybe.
Right. Pepe's been pretty good, hasn't he?
I don't know. I feel like he's playing football, but I don't think he's doing too much.
Yeah. There's a lot of like he's okay,
but that's the like
Aozi Perez is hurt now, isn't he?
Yeah. That's just La Liga for you, though, really, isn't it? Like, none of them are that good. You spoke about it yesterday, I think, with Sean.
Yeah. Like, you might not need them to be that good,
right? Yeah. As long as the competition's not that good either, then you're fine, right? You're all just in the same boat, basically, and.
Ben said, I have the highest percentage Tigres collection in 3 weeks on my 5% kicks, and I've been training the brakes off them. So, like, my contender limited lineup this week was a Tigres stack. Like, or it was I actually wish I hadn't gotten Gorriarán, but like, it was a defensive stack and then Cecina and Usami. Like, that's how I beat Ben if he's running a 5-player Tigres stack.
Right. Also, I will add that Gorriarán thing. If he didn't play for Tigres, would have you put him in that lineup? Be honest.
No. Well, he wouldn't have had the matchup. Like, I bought him because of the matchup.
Right, fair. Right. But even if he played for a different Mexican team, I don't think he would have. And he was at home. Like, I don't think you would play him because he played for the defensive stack. I think that's something that we all do sometimes.
I'll be honest. One of the other players I was considering buying was Mathis Taferner from.
He scored, didn't he?
Somewhere, yeah.
Tirol or whatever, yeah.
So the reason I didn't get him is because I was like, his price is going up because of the Austrian Bundesliga special.
Yeah.
And I was like, Gorriarán was so cheap. Like, I paid $1.75 for Gorriarán. And I was just like, and Taferner was like $8. And I was like, I'll just do it. Like Toby saying, like, Taferner smashed, like, he scored 79.7 and with a decisive, and Gorriarán scored 61. Like, obviously
he still did well, yeah,
but no decisive. Like, Gorriarán happened to be like Tigres at home against Puebla, phenomenal matchup. It's why I got Guzman, it's why I got Angulo, and like Gorriarán was okay. He's not on sets is the thing. That's why I didn't want to get him. Yeah, Mike said he was on at Santos, but to be honest, I just got lazy.
Happens.
And it cost me.
Yeah.
Actually, I have no idea what I could sell those cards for. I've been thinking of doing that too.
Just banking it all.
Yeah. Just to prove a point.
Are they home this weekend? Oh, not this weekend. You know when internationals finish?
Terrible matchup when they come back. Away to Monterrey. Like, legit terrible matchup. They're away to Mazatlan after that, which is not great. It's fine. Home against Pachuca. Away to Tijuana. Like, they have, 6 games left? And 4 of them are away.
Oh yeah,
I'm
this
selling
is where you
Charlie.
have to. Yeah,
201 today, Harry.
they're going in. They're going in 40 minutes. They are going 100%.
Yep. But good luck to your stack, Ben. Yeah. Anyway. Sorry, there was a Danny Parejo. Parejo is good, just not this season. But if he's ever bouncing back, then surely this run is it.
His legs are gone. He never really had any, but
when you not really have any, and then you
and then they go. Sounds like me.
Yeah.
That's the story of my football career. Never had any, but they still go.
There it is. All right. Thank you to everybody for coming. If you could please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Shout out to Quinny. As soon as this stream is over, go over to the Harry Trades channel, subscribe there as well. I'll be back tomorrow, maybe. Well, I'll definitely be back tomorrow, but it's an NBA chat. Talking now with Damien from Sorare, talking about the new season coming up. And Mike Bassanellis is probably faster than Parejo. That's probably true, to be honest. Anyway, so yeah, if there is no football show tomorrow, there'll be one Thursday. Sorare Andrews. Anyway, check that out. Thank you to everybody for coming. Get those steps in.